Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of our Zenith console radio restoration. In part 1 we got the chassis out of the radio, just took a quick look at some of the features of the radio, and today in part 2 we're going to be delving into the chassis and seeing if we can determine what parts are bad and go from there. So let's get started.
Can't really tell if it's had a lot of work done on it. Those capacitors look to be original, maybe. They're all the same color, so that's a good sign. The dial belt, broken, you can see there. It still works if you hold that loose piece up there or on the rest of it, but definitely that's dried out and gone. But that's a minor problem compared to what else could be wrong with it. We'll just have to get into it and see. I think I'm going to pull the tubes out and check them, and then that'll be pretty much it till I get a schematic for it. I have one ordered. I can get in and do some troubleshooting and see what's going on. Did notice one more thing when I pulled the chassis out. Transformer is right above that on the chassis, so I'm afraid that the transformer has spewed out all of that, but that's definitely not supposed to be there. Here's a power transformer out of the radio, and all of that black wax that was on the bottom of the cabinet, it came out of the bottom of this. Not a good sign, so I'm going to take these screws out, pull the case apart, and see what it looks like inside. Uh-oh. Wow. Fried to a crisp. Well, that transformer is definitely toast. Even the other side, you can see it's really been hot. So we're definitely going to need a power transformer. After doing some research online, you see that part number 95-627N. That's a common transformer that burns out. Usually what happens, the transformers weren't built heavy enough, that's from what I've read, and if the rectifier tube shorts, it instantly opens up this transformer. So I guess that's what happened to this one. It was definitely running hot even before it went out. You can tell by the way it's melted inside. So, okay, we're back to work on the 8-tube chassis, and this radio, of course, had the bad transformer. And bought this transformer online. It's a good one. Has the right secondary voltages. Checks out good. So got it mounted in the chassis. Just got a couple of bolts in it for now. One here and one over here. Have the transformer wired. All the primary and the secondary wires hooked up. This filter cap and this filter cap, the electrolytics, they check okay. This one checked bad, this one here, so I replaced it with one right here. And for the rectifier, I built another solid state rectifier that I'll plug in where the 6x5 tube plugged in. That'll give me hopefully get my DC voltage where it should be, and we might get some noise out of this thing. Okay, I have my DC voltage, 335 volts or 36, and that's at about 100 volts AC coming in, so that's working. I have B+ voltage, I have filament voltage to the tubes. So let's turn this thing on. I've got about 105 volts AC. Now, what do you think? Look at that.
What is going on? Right, what is going on? What are the 5 stages?
It works.
Oh gosh, you gotta be depressed, denial.
No AC voltage on my B+, so that's good. So apparently all that was wrong with this radio was the power transformer that we looked at, the one that was fried. And that rectifier tube, I'm sure, either shorted first or shorted when the transformer fried, or combination of the two. But anyway, we got this good transformer in. This is a heavier transformer than the one that came out of the radio. And that one capacitor that checked bad. I will check all of these coupling caps and these orange ones just to make sure they're still in tolerance, but it's playing. This is a wave magnet antenna that mounts in a cabinet.
If you're a soundbite headline kind of guy or gal, this isn't for you. It took me about 20 minutes to get through this whole read.
I just have it plugged in temporarily here on the bench, because that's a speaker out of the radio there. Have the new belt put on. Takes care of that. Tuning's working fine. So we're pretty much finished with the chassis. Probably put a new cord. I just noticed that. Pretty hard and brittle, so we'll put a new cord on it, but then that'll finish it up. Here I've dimmed the lights in the room just so you can see the eye tube a little better. This tube is not real strong. It's, as you can see, not a very bright display. You can see it there with the lights dim, but in normal lighting it's pretty dim. But it is working. I may get one for it. Haven't decided on that yet. Okay, do have a new cord on it. The only thing I'm missing is I need a 6-volt dial lamp right here. I only had one in stock, so I'm going to have to get some of those. But it works. Tone controls are right here on these buttons. And they all seem to work fine. I'm going to turn it up a little here where you can tell. You pull out whenever you want to activate one. So like voice is sharper. It's normal. Treble. Alto. And bass. Low bass. I do have this bezel goes on the outside of the presets. Letters of the station still look really good. So that'll make that look better. Goes right there. Another thing we'll have to do before I mount the chassis back in the cabinet, these screws that go through the bottom, there's 4 of them. The 2 front ones are broken off. The shaft's broken, you can see it in there. This one and this one here. So I'm going to have to try to get those shafts out. The back ones are fine. I have screws for it from another radio that I had laying around. They're right here. Springs, screws, a whole shooting match there. Just need to get those broken ones out. So I'm going to squirt some WD-40 on them, let them soak, and hopefully I won't have any trouble getting them out. Our last thing we'll do before we say this chassis is completed, put this AC fuse on the back. That just fuses the AC line coming in. It's a 1.5 amp fuse. That should be sufficient. If we get a catastrophic failure, it will blow that fuse. So just a little added protection. That'll do it for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3 when we do some more cabinet work and then mount the chassis back in the radio and finish up this project. Thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.